But look, as we do, there was a lot of positives in this game. Will, I'm going to send it right back to you. What were some of your positives in this game, in this win?
I start with what's been working. What I always start with every single week during this winning streak: our defensive line.
Yep.
Making plays. They had 9 tackles. They were involved in 8 additional assists for tackles. They were just in every single play, whether it's making the tackle or having to be being disruptive or having to be so focused on. Remember that picture I sent to you? Atlanta tried to run up the middle, so they put 3 offensive
Yeah.
linemen on Jonathan Allen, 2 offensive linemen on Deron Payne, and they let everyone else free. It's up
Yeah.
to the linebackers to make a play. Their game plan was like, we have to take out these D tackles, and I mean they found schemes, and we're going to get to that in the negatives of it. But it's just our defensive line just continues to play so well, and they're playing well as a unit.
Yeah.
It's not just about me getting my sacks, me running, blitzing the quarterback. It's they're making plays, and when the plays are there to be made, they do. We're batting the balls down. Montez Sweat got a sack, which I thought he was going to destroy Mariota when he had that opportunity. He kind of like let up and just made the tackle.
Notice
But
that, yeah.
when he was beating down on him, I was like, oh boy,
Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. He's about to get crushed. So I love that from the defensive line. And then the second level, Jamin Davis, the continued progression of him. Making plays out there. I had some stats there. I lost my stats on. 6 tackles and 4 assists for Jamin, and he makes some very sound tackles. Let you know he's there, and you're going down quick when he gets his arms on you. That sets a tone. That gets everyone fired up when he hits somebody hard. So he's just continued to progress, and he's filling in so well with Cole Holcomb being out, playing well with the defensive line. So it's continued success by those guys, and I love seeing it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And look, staying right there on the defense, our secondary. Man, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm not trying to speak ill of those who have left and William Jackson. But since you've been gone, I'm gonna tell you something, man. These guys are playing together. The emergence of Derek Forrest is been out of this world. He led the team with 11 tackles, 8 of them being solo. You have Cam Curl. Both of those guys are what? PFF's had them in the top 5 in cornerback percentage, or
consistently, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, these guys are playing out of their mind. Then the reemergence of Kendall Fuller, having back-to-back weeks with having an interception, the one where he had the pick 6 that, in my mind, shut down that game. Any kind of
in the first quarter,
any kind of anxiety we had after he took it back, it's like, okay, these guys they're not on a level.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And the way the secondary has come together, and now they are helping the linebackers. They are helping that D line, and it's just complimentary. But I think the emergence of that secondary, that's what's kind of getting Jamin Davis to the point where it's like, I don't have to worry about coming back here and covering here. I can spy the quarterback. I can get this running back. I can stay. There's so many tackles. To your point on Jamin Davis, you sent me a text and you were like, he is a sure dang on tackler. There are so many times where it's like you see him, the running back, bust through the hole, and all of a sudden, Jamin Davis gets that shoelace tackle. The tackle that we're always talking about Gibson gets. You know what I mean? Where he gets stacked. Jamin Davis is the one diving in there, getting those plays, and he's being vocal about it. He's being loud. He's looking at the guys. I love that, man. And the secondary is definitely it's just helping out the defense. Look, we're top 10 in a number of categories on defense, including total defense. And that from where we were, that's huge. We've always known this is going to be bend but don't break, but these guys are actually starting to impose their will. I'm excited about that, Will.
Absolutely.
I'm excited about that. Hey, so I'm gonna keep going on this, and we talk about complimentary football, and we're going to get into the offense a little later. And I've done this the last couple times. People are going to start thinking I'm in love with the special teams. All right, but I'm going to tell you something. When they're efficient and they get it done, I love that. Now, with that being said, one of my negatives will be if you're a daggone NFL kicker, you need to make all of your extra points. That's ridiculous. This game would have been over if he makes an extra point. We wouldn't have been worried about it. So, but that's the negatives. I apologize. I'm going to recoup my time. All right.
Uh-huh.
He had the 2 field goals, which were 2 huge field goals. When it was 16-10, that field that took it out. Now it makes it a 2-possession game.
Yeah.
Now they got to do more. You know what I mean? The mindset, the play calling, all that stuff's different. Having the other field goals that getting us back in it and tying it up after they scored. These are huge field goals that we're getting. Then on the flip side, you talk about Tress Way, over 100, they got 3 punts for 127 yards, something like 45 yards average. What is normal? 2 of those punts were inside the 20, including one that just did it right at like the 5-yard line.
He did.
You know,
he hit it like a golf flop shot, man.
Right.
It just
right there. I mean, you talk about that rain. They were talking about they could hear it just go boom right on the ground, and it stopped right there. So those are the type of things that change the game. Look, their offense was already sputtering. We knew they had issues, but burying them deep in their own side of the field, it definitely benefited our defense, which was very hungry. Our special teams, you throw in 51 yards on a couple kick returns by Antonio Gibson, Dax Milne and them back. We even had Erickson. Alex Erickson was back at punt returner this, So our special teams, including all the guys that we're not speaking of, that run down the
Gunners.
The Gunners, the Percy Butlers,
Christian Holmes, Butler, Holmes. Yeah,
exactly. And shout out to Christian Holmes getting his for the first career start.
Yeah, he held it down a little bit.
Okay,
yeah,
watch out. So but special teams, we're getting closer to a full team win. Offense is good, defense is good, and special teams come in. They're all complementary. They're all helping each other. So that was something I was really excited about.
Well, I was thinking about Tress Way and the punts too, because when you talk about complementary football, he's doing what we need because we don't have an explosive offense. So field position matters to us. Yes. And that's what was getting me so frustrated because we kept getting the ball at like our 35, 40-yard line where you don't have to go too far down the field to be in field goal range. Right. And because Tress, when we didn't, he just kept pinning them, and you're making Atlanta go a long field on a team that is like us that wants to run short passes. That takes a lot out of your offense. It takes a lot of time. So it is so great to see the complementary football that we're playing between them, as well as you mentioned between the secondary and the D line. Everyone talks about, well, if you have a good pass rush, you don't have to worry about your secondary. But they also kind of work hand in hand. If your secondary is close on their coverage, the quarterback is going to hold on to the ball because he doesn't see anything that he likes, and you're going to give your D-line a chance to get to him. And they're really working together. It's just showing that for all the time that we've been critical of Jack Del Rio here, how it's really coming together.
Exactly.
And I've listened to a couple pods, and they're like, well, what has happened? And there is some recognition of a certain corner that's no longer around, but also they're just kind of like, well, the players are in year 2 of this, or some of them are in year 3. These guys are drafted into this defense. They're learning it, and they're really learning and understanding the schemes. And so you got to credit the defensive coordinator for kind of drowning out the noise and saying, this is what we need to do to be successful. And it's working.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it goes along with the whole coaching staff. We know there are people that, will dog the coaching staff as a whole. But look, all of them have been doing it. Rivera, you talk about Jack Del Rio holding the defense together. Rivera holding the team together when we are 1-4. You know what I mean? Now that we've won 6 out of the last 7 games, now some of the things that he's been preaching from before, telling us to hold strong, stay with me, stay with it. It's coming to fruition. People are starting to see the fruits of their labor, and they're getting excited about that. You know what I mean? And that it says something. Even your boy, Scott Turner, I feel like some of the play calls have gotten better. He's kind of stuck with something. That kind of goes into my next point. We had 11 rushing first downs among, I think, 13, 14 first downs total. Okay? 11 rushing first downs. We are getting it on the ground. We are running the ball and getting 4.8 yards a carry. You know what I mean? So that's 2. You're getting 2 plays, 3 plays for a first down. Now, all of a sudden, not only are you stretching the clock, but you're constantly pounding them with multiple carries. Another game where we had over 30 carries as a team, over 170 yards as a total as a team. This is big. We know
Mm-hmm.
what Brian Robinson, and we're gonna give him the game ball a little bit later. But you also have Antonio Gibson coming in here and giving carries. You know what I mean? You have Curtis Samuel, who I love that. For a while, I was kind of, once the emergence of Brian Robinson, I was like, maybe we don't need to. But I've talked about it before, that motion. All that
Mm-hmm.
continued motion that seems to happen on every single play now, that motion absolutely holds that defense. And now all of a sudden, you're getting sometimes where you're getting Curtis Samuel run up the gut. Terry McLaurin on the jet sweep. It's
Mm-hmm.
becoming, he's getting it maybe once or twice a game. But the emergence of that other guy, the guy that you talked about this off season, Jonathan Williams, coming in there and getting some tough yards. And I remember that run where he's sitting here and it looks like he got stopped for 2 or 3 yards, and all of a sudden you see him just dragging the pile for a first down, and you're like, "Whoo, okay,
He
you
runs
want to be on
hard.
the field, right?
He runs
Okay.
violent.
Right?" And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, and you can see that on his face. But as a team, the running game, that commitment to run, Scott Turner, I applaud him for understanding. We know we got in the quarterback, so don't want it. He's going to make his mistakes and he's going to do whatever he's going to do. But that running game, that is our bread and butter. Keep pounding the rock, and I love that he did that. So
Yep, I agree, and I've been saying how it's not always so much like, so this game we certainly had a lot of yards,
yeah,
and that always is obviously a recipe for success, but it also can be the timeliness of the runs. Are they creating first downs?
yeah,
Are they third and shorts and you're getting the yardage you need? Are you getting from 1st and 10 to 2nd and 4? Which now makes it a lot more comfortable for the offense for the passing game and running shorter routes, or you can just open more things up. And they have been doing that the last couple of weeks. They've also, they're really relying heavily on the run. We're close to 50-50 balance. We're at like a 52-48 over this winning streak. And it's shown that that's our strength. And I mean, some of that I do think is because they want to limit how many times Taylor can make a mistake. Whereas before they also knew, though, with Carson is he's got the arm. So let's utilize it. But we've really found with this team, we need that running game to be the focal point of our offense. And so he's stuck with it and kept it going. I couldn't, Brian Robinson with his first 100-yard game running, and then he had that, highlight reel touchdown catch and run that you showed, when he said, well, when I see a defensive back, I figure about 85-90% of the time I better win that battle. It's like, this is a great mindset.
I love that.
And he's like, you're not going to stop me. I can't get stopped by you, that type of stuff, which is great. I also saw some, again, meaningful plays. Terry had I think 4 catches, maybe 48 yards, but they were first downs. They were moving the chains. Yes. They were big. They were more than just a slant pass. They were a 15, 20-yard passing play that moved the ball, got everyone gets the crowd going with the big first down. De'Ami Brown caught a first down catch. It's like, that's the type of stuff that keeps momentum going. This is how Taylor Heinicke gets everyone behind him. It's because he'll make plays that get the crowd off their feet, get the players all pumped up. And so some of the plays were very timely when they're making them to keep our momentum going.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And something we will be talking about a little bit later. Definitely excited to see kind of where this thing all comes to fruition. And it's excited to see Taylor when he gets it done and he has his moments. But then, there's also certain things you got to see with him. We'll discuss that a little bit later. And during the bye week, we're going to talk about the state of Taylor Heinicke.
We're going to have to dissect it. Yeah, pretty hard. Where are we at here with this? What are we doing moving forward?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Because we are realistic, ladies and gentlemen. We're definitely realistic. Are you good with positives? You got anything else?
Got all mine out. Yep.
Yeah, that's where I am. I have one positive that I'm going to end with, and the only reason is because it directly affects the negative that I'll start with. Right before the half, ladies and gentlemen, they are driving down. They're driving to score. I was 10-10, I believe, and they're running the ball and they're being able to gash us. And we're able to stop them first and second down, and it gets the third down. We stop them again. Then it gets the 4th and 1, and then they try to
They hand the ball
ran up. At first they tried to jump offside.
Yes,
they called a timeout. They ran it again. They ended up running it right up the gut. We stuffed it shut them down. Huge momentum change. You have that picture of Jonathan Allen just screaming, just so excited. We're hooting and hollering as fans. We come in there, next play, pass, flippin'ception.
Yes.
I don't need to tell you the vast range of emotion that I just went from at one point here to another point there to then back to anger up here again. Just like, what in the world? We're going to negatives because we had an amazing fourth down stand, one that almost in a season full of solid fourth down stands. We talked about the Bears game. In a season full of those, this is one that is directly in the middle of the field, mano a mano. Your guys, your running team, you're good with that against us, our D-line, blah, blah, and we stopped them. We're good. We came off the field. And then our daggone quarterback just gave it back to us. Like, they gave it right back. Like, what? Come on, man. Like, that. It's just, again, and this is why I said what I said about Taylor before, is because we're going to talk about this later, is because you can't overlook this. This stuff continues to happen. These interceptions. The only thing I felt that was good about the interception was Will's words were ringing in my ear. If he throws it early, we got a shot. We can come back from it.
He gets it out of the system.
Now, there was another one that he threw that ended up getting overturned. That might have been the one that was to McLaurin, that took it out of McLaurin's hand. So that one ended up getting overturned. But still, we've seen how deadly these interceptions can be. And it's just, we can't do it. It's not realistic for us to think that we're going to continue to win over and over if these mistakes keep coming up. Because there's going to be a time where we're going to throw it, the interception. They're not going to call it back. They're not going to, miss the call. And it's going to be that. Like, we cannot keep allowing this to happen. So just like you said, he says he's changed, but this is the same stuff we've seen last year. We just have more talent on the team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So what are some of your negatives, man? What do
you
think?
So let's stay on that Taylor Heinicke theme. I thought about this today. I think it might resonate because we also make always every single game we criticize Scott Turner, and it's like, wait a minute, what happened to the game plan that was working? So here's my analogy. All right, growing up in Herndon, okay, we used to drive along many of the back roads through neighborhoods and whatnot to get from place to place. If you remember, see if you can picture this. Okay. Sadler's Wells. You turn on to, now I just forgot the name. It connects, it goes by Drainsville Elementary and connects to Drainsville Road. Okay. When you first turn onto that road, and I can't believe I forgot the name of the street there. You're driving down and you're going 25 to 30. And it's real easy to do because the school's coming. So you're going downhill. So you stay the speed limit. That's just like us in the first quarter, first half. Scott Turner's calling a lot of runs. It's the beginning of the drive. He's not going to make sure that we get into some trouble. Once you pass the elementary school and you're still just going straight downhill, you start to speed up a little bit. It's real hard. You get bored, okay? I think Scott Turner gets bored during the game, and he starts dialing up more passing plays for Taylor. And that's when we start having some trouble during drives. And then you hit a stop sign, so you slow down. And then you have the final stretch. So you go back to going 25, 30 till you hit Drainsville Road at the stoplight. And that's the third and fourth quarters, mostly the fourth quarter, where Scott realizes, okay, this is what I need to be doing. And I'm going to call the right plays because I was bored back there for like the second and third quarter. And I'm making bad, too aggressive because I just get bored watching him. These dinking ducks were going to get aggressive. And I think that's what we see happen in the games with Taylor because we start off with a very good script. And that second drive of the game, he was money. His throws were great. His reads were great. The ball was coming out fast. The running game was helping to complement. And then I think it was the fourth quarter, third or fourth quarter is when he had that touchdown pass to John Bates. Same thing. We got back on script. We went ahead. We were going the speed limit. And we utilized what we needed to. And he had they called it a really good red zone play where they confused the defense and John Bates was open. All right, so Scott Turner kind of gets the feel for him, but it's during the game we get bored with Taylor, and we let him. We take the handcuffs off a little bit, and he runs wild, and we can't be doing that. We can't take the seatbelt off of him ever. He needs to stay under.
Keep that governor
on that car because when we do, it's just I mean, he had 138 yards passing, man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's not
this
pretty.
is this is where it's like, I can admit that he is better for this offense than Carson Wentz. But I cannot admit this is what we should be doing for the next year or two or 5 years. No. This is not a professional offense. He can't throw over 200 yards ever. It's terrible.
There's game manager, and then there's just kind of like what he's doing. Like, he's barely getting it above 100. And sometimes, like, there are sometimes we've had games where we've gone into the fourth quarter under 100 yards passing, and we're sitting here like, are you serious with all these daggone weapons? But if us running the ball more and limiting that, and that becomes the reason behind these numbers, I'm okay with that. But if it gets to the point where he is trying to, hey, F it, I'll chuck it down there, or like the second and third quarter, take that up the daggone playbook. Just run the ball. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't care. I know it's boring, but he has the propensity to do it once. He's gonna do it. You talk about it. He's gonna get it done once, and it's irritating. It really is. There are positives, different things that he was able to do, but having a QBR of 53.7 ain't one of them.
I ain't gonna do it.
What are the negatives you got, man?
Our defense, our run defense. This was kind of surprising, but I also think we got to look at two things. I mean, it was surprising that we got gashed the way we did, but I'm going to credit Atlanta because, one, I mean, they are a good running team. They focus on running the ball. That's why they have so many different backs that they use. They're rotating in and out. But more importantly, it was their scheme that I was impressed with.
Yeah.
They recognize we're not going to be able to run up the middle, so we better run to the outside. And that's what they did, is they would run it towards past our defensive ends on the outside, or they would run a lot of read option. I mean, Mariota really torched us with the read option keepers, and we kept biting in and crashing in, so he'd keep it and run outside. So I think they gave us that. They put a little bit of blueprint on how to run against the Commanders. You run to the edges. You avoid Payne, Allen, and John Ridgeway in the middle.
Yeah.
Let's
go Ridgeway.
Right? Big fella had another tackle.
Made a little name for himself, man. Sticking around, man.
Yeah. So we were gonna have to shore that up, but I also yes, it was a negative on our part, but I think we also need to credit their scheme for seeing one thing that they needed to avoid and finding a way to do it.
Yeah. And look, to that point, and something that they've talked about in a lot of the pressers, we have got to work on. We have issues with mobile quarterbacks.
Yes.
We've seen it whenever we've had to play Justin Fields, he torched us. Jalen Hurts, we were able to kind of contain him, but once they had those direct runs, those QB leads, he was gashing us similar to the way that Marcus Mariota was. Marcus Mariota, it seemed like a more efficient, maybe Taylor Heineke. He knows the offense. We're going to run this way. We're going to run that way. A couple dink passes here. Complete this over here. Just don't get out of your thing. It reminds me of the movie Hitch with Will Smith and Kevin James. And you just see Kevin James, doing all this. Yeah, right. Yeah. He just, this is you right here. Just stay right in. It's never truer because Mariota and Heineke alike, they can move. They're mobile. They can get you these quick passes, this and that. If you hit a wide open guy, whatever, the minute they start getting out of their box and start to do too much, it creates issues. But we have consistently had issues with mobile quarterbacks, and that's something that I fear might hurt us down the line. And it's something that we're going to have to get a hold of because for however great Jamin Davis has been in the Philly games where he's been able to kind of spy on Jalen Hurts, Mariota, man, looked like, I was making a comment to Anthony, Mariota looked like the Oregon Mariota out there.
Yeah,
like the way he was turning that corner and getting those first downs, and I'm sitting here like y'all for real?
I know.
You know what I mean? He ain't looked this great all year. Like, what are y'all doing? So yeah, we us and mobile quarterbacks, it's going to be an issue. We got Dak coming up, as we know. You know what I mean?
Daniel Jones.
Right.
Yeah.
Back-to-back games.
I mean,
with him.
They gave him a blueprint for the Giants of how to run on us, and that fits the Giants, scheme.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah, that's where we're at. You got any more negatives?
You said earlier, Joey Sly, man. I guess the only positive that can come from it is the defense realize we can't give up this touchdown because we'll lose the game. But you put us in a bind with that miss.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.